beginning, and what was life like for you, growing up as a kid?
I mean, life was good. We weren't the wealthiest folks in the world, but at the same time, we still made do. I grew up pretty much on the fast track. I lived a very fast life. Got in a little bit of trouble growing up, but I'll never let what happened in my past define who I am going to be tomorrow. So, looking at it, growing up was pretty quick. I was in and out of the streets, running around, having a good time, but now it's time to scale back, focus on the bigger picture, and really succeed.
And are you originally from Central Ohio, or are you from Dayton? Where did you
So I'm
grow
from,
up?
I grew up in the Springfield area.
Springfield. Okay.
Yes, moved around a little bit around the city, but for the most part, Springfield is home.
Okay. And did you have any hobbies or interests or anything like that growing up?
I did play sports. My dad was a firm believer in football. I got shoulders of a lineman, so obviously I had to play. So I didn't enjoy playing sports. I did enjoy hanging out with friends. Music is something that's huge to me. I love listening to all sorts of genres. So, I think that was probably my biggest hobby growing up.
Can you play any or sing or what?
Oh
No.
God, no. Oh no, no, no.
You just enjoy it.
Oh yeah, it sounds better when you're in the car alone.
So, so, after high school and stuff, what was kind of that next move for you? Did you end up going to college, dive right into the career field?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't have much sense of direction. As I was growing up. I said I resorted to the streets a lot, just went running around with my friends and had no real passion. It wasn't up until my grandmother passing away is when I really just reality set in. Like I lost my best friend at that point. So one day a buddy of ours just decided to adventure into the military offices, see what they had to offer because we had to take a friend of ours there and ended up joining the Navy out of nowhere. So ended up taking that out and graduated and then left a couple months after to serve my country. And that was what it really took to straighten me out and get a good life perspective.
Well, first, thank you for that. Second,
Thank you.
um, how old were you? Was this like right out of high school, or was it a couple years later?
So it was about a couple years later.
Okay.
It wasn't a decision right out the gate. It was more so like I had to do some dumb things first to finally realize that I need to go somewhere to get it right. So that was probably my best choice was joining the military versus going to college.
What was it in that moment of making that decision that was going to be the next step? I know obviously you said, life and mistakes and things like that,
Mhm.
but I mean that's a big decision to make,
It
pretty
is.
much in a snap of a finger.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
was it for you?
I really don't know. It was one of those things where we really were just going up there to mess around to see what they had to offer. And, when we sat down in the Navy office, we just heard out what they had to say and loved it. So we kind of just, at the time, it was me and a buddy of mine. We were supposed to go together, but some things happened in his life to where he wasn't able to go. So I just ended up pursuing it anyhow. So
Okay.
really, I was at that rock bottom point in my life.
Yeah. And how long were you in for?
I just did my time and got the heck up out of there. I did my four and ran. So did enough to get that sense of independence. And, now that I can do it on my own and, grow up a little bit, I've pretty much been rocking it out since.
Yeah, it's always so hard. I'm always curious of like that stage of life, that 18 to, the college years, right? That 18 to
Hmm.
22. It's always so hard to, really figure out exactly what you want to do and what direction you
Right.
want to go. And back when I went to school, it was a little bit more pressure that college was the route to go in order to get a great job and security and, all of those things. And looking back on it now, it's just like, man, it's so hard to put that on such a young individual,
Right. It's a
to
lot
make
of
that
pressure.
decision. Yeah.
Hmm.
So when you got out, what were kind of the next steps for you? I mean, did you dive right
So
into real estate or?
when I got out, I was kind of again at that crossroad where I didn't know really where I wanted to be. I had the option to stay in California where I got out of the service at, or come back to Ohio. So I really wanted to get a fresh start, especially from what I left behind here in Ohio. Ended up coming back, staying with my parents for a little bit, and then I met my husband now, and we kind of just figured it out together. Ended up moving in together, and really taken off. So he got me into the hospital eventually for an interview that he works at out in Madison County, which is not too far from Columbus. got me in there. I worked my way up from passing trays in the diner to being the front office coordinator for a wound center before I decided to leave 5 years later. So,
Mm.
it took me some time, factory work, restaurant industry, to finally figure out what I wanted to do. But once I landed in real estate, you're never changing my mind.